After several large armoured assaults by unmarked and unknown forces, NATO forces have established checkpoints such as the one behind me throughout the region. The armoured column that entered the country through the northern borders was just barely repelled through a combined force of Marines and task force members. The checkpoint have reinforced the NATO presence and serves as a cheap yet effective way to both deter and warn about enemy units moving into the country. Surrounding the checkpoint are the aftermath of the devastation brought on by the conflict. The checkpoint itself is causing civilians to be delayed as all vehicles passing through are being thoroughly checked for contraband such as firearms and explosives. NATO intelligence services have confirmed that several unknown organizations are hard at work to smuggle various types of weaponry into the country with the express intention of prolonging the conflict. The task force have been instrumental in quelling the insurgency, providing stability and reassurance to the local population through patrols and regular shows of force. Despite the heavy presence of NATO forces, however, the international aid workers were massacred in the town of Lopatino only weeks ago. NATO and the task force refuses to comment on exactly what happened, but they were allegedly assigned to protect the town during their efforts to hand out humanitarian aid. The peace talks that were scheduled for last week came to a swift and brutal end, as the insurgent forces massed a sizable force to disrupt the efforts to provide peace and stability to the region. The Joint Task Force was deployed with the United States Marine Corps to provide security under the leadership of the Chernarus Defense Forces, and the battle near and in Zelenogorsk was claimed to be a victory for the NATO forces. Despite the unexpected and sudden attack of the insurgents, Prime Minister Ladislav was evacuated out of the area. Things have, however, taken a turn for the worse, as his whereabouts are currently unknown, and he was last seen thrown into a civilian helicopter in the southern parts of the region. NATO and the Chernorussian forces are maintaining control over the key settlements of Chernogorsk, Elektrozavodsk, and Berezino, allowing much-needed supplies and heavier materials a way to reach this war-torn country. Kremlin commented on the build-up of NATO forces this close to the borders, stating that, "We understand why they are here, and then commend them for trying to assist the nation of Chernarus in regaining control over the country." When they were confronted with the evidence of fairly modern and new Russian-made equipment being fielded by the insurgents, they claimed that it is all purely coincidental and assured us that they would investigate the alleged weapon smuggling. Through all of this, however, the Joint Task Force 207 have remained strong and met any resistance with brutal and precise force, with the insurgents' major offensive being crushed as soon as they start, and the desperate tactics being used in an attempt to clutch to some sort of legitimacy. One can only speculate about how long they can keep this going. Analysts from the NATO headquarters believe that the insurgents have drained most of their funding and resources, and that we will see less and less of them in the coming weeks. This should give the Chernorussian forces a chance to regroup and potentially regain control of a long-lost territory. This may lead to the Joint Task Force 207 being released from duty and sent to the next flashpoint NATO deems worthy of their presence. This is Harry Landon reporting live from Chernarus, BBC News.